Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, my friend, I would like to justify our argument and discussion about Shariah on Bitcoin in Islamic banking and finance. First of all, I will discuss the article Bitcoin Islamic Law Perspective. Bitcoin is one amongst the few digital currency that first appeared in 2009, introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto as a cryptography-based digital currency. Bitcoin is directly distributed between users without the mandatory intermediaries. Seeing the incident that arises in the community, many people use Bitcoin as a way of payment, although they know that Bitcoin does not qualify as a currency. Aspect to be considered is that the side mudarat greater than the advantages, taken if used as currency and instrument of payment or transaction, and at the same time as a commodity too. Due to any risk of weaknesses in the security, just in case of misuse or criminalization against the employment or access to Bitcoin itself, especially if controlled by others who do not seem to be responsible. So if everything is to be borne by the community or Bitcoin user, it certainly would be a greater dangerous for the community or Bitcoin user. The utilization of Bitcoin as a method of payment transaction, especially on online financial transactions, including Shubuhat, and something that Shubuhat it should be abandoned because it does not bring benefit yet, because the goal of the Islamic law that its own benefit cannot be realized. Next article will be discussed is user perception of cryptocurrency system application from the Islamic views. Regard to the Islamic perspective of cryptocurrency, Muslim scholars and Shariah experts have developed varied opinions. Some consider it to be permissible halal and others prohibited haram. Among the scholars who consider it to be legally impermissible put forward their reason. Some of them arguing that it violates the constitution of their governments. On the other hand, there are Muslim scholars who regard cryptocurrency as permissible in principle. Furthermore, there are many uncertainties related to the implementation of the cryptocurrency reported by many researchers and mentioned in the perspective fatwa. The findings indicate that there is a lack of Islamic law on the basic criteria for the use of cryptocurrency as either a legal or illegal machinery transaction tool. Hence, Islamic digital currency model is necessary for applying Islamic law to the use of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency rely on miners to validate any transaction.
Next is article number 3. I choose to review article by Mufti Muhammad Abu Bakar about Sharia analysis of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency and blockchain. In this article, we will look for two criterion. Firstly, we look for the legal criterion for property, which is mal. The acceptance definition of mal is mutakawwam. Mutakawwam is a main condition for deciding something as a mal. Mutakawwam refer to that which is Sharia is permissible. Next, Islamic legal criterion for money. Definition of money are medium of exchange, widely accepted as a mean of payment, measure of value, and the last one is unit of account. So based on the first view of Sharia, cryptocurrency of Bitcoin is haram because Bitcoin is easily used for illegal activity. Bitcoin is intangible and only can use through the internet. Bitcoin allowed for money laundering, and the last one, Bitcoin has no central authority monitor the system. Second view of Sharia, Bitcoin is permissible in principle because Bitcoin is mostly acceptable based on the discussion on concept of property and money. It is viewed that it can be analyzed. Cryptocurrency are mostly acceptable because something may be viewed as a money if it has that are treated amongst people as a value item, received as a form of trade, measure of value, and serve as unit of account. In this article, conclude that Bitcoin is permissible in principle. Article number 4, which is I choose to review article by Ahmad Kamil Maidin Maira about cryptocurrency from Islamic perspective, the case of Bitcoin. In order to evaluate Bitcoin from Islamic perspective, we need to know about money and its function in Islam. So to play an effective and efficient role as money, it must have 7 requirements, which is accepted, divisible, homogeneous, durable, mobile, rare, and stable value. To make it a good money, they need have at least 5 of the characteristics. So Bitcoin fulfill 5 of the 7 criteria. The 2 criteria that Bitcoin do not fulfill is acceptance and stable value. Therefore, Bitcoin is recognized by thousands of merchants throughout the world. By modern meaning of it, it is still a money, and Shariah scholars are likely to sanction it and make it subject to a asaf and riba law. So the conclusion is Shariah scholars prefer to allow any money accepted by individual regardless of whatever they have accepted it of their own free will of focus it by legal tender law or the like. It is because as long as they do not involve haram product, all the money accepted by individual is permitted on fiqh ground, particular on the basic of maslahah.
Next, we move to the fifth article is about Bitcoin compliance, written by Mufti Faraz Adam. He stated that there are 3 opinions of Islamic fiqh analysis of Bitcoin. The first opinion is Bitcoin is not mal and is purely speculative and a non-Sharia compliant investment. The second opinion is Bitcoin is a digital asset and not money. The third opinion is Bitcoin is a currency. As for the second and third opinion, they look Bitcoin from the economic aspect. In 2017, the value of Bitcoin is surpassed the value of gold. So, the supply and demand of Bitcoin indicating to desirability that equal to mal. However, for the first opinion, they regard Bitcoin as not mal. This is because Bitcoin is the number with digital entries on a scripted blockchain. It does not have any intrinsic function nor utility at all. Next, for the sixth article, it stated that there are 2 groups that are talking about Bitcoin. The first group is the group that against the Bitcoin. The second group is the group that agree with the Bitcoin. As for the first group, according to Yusuf Ahmad and Pawini Mana in 2018, the first group regard the Bitcoin as against the Shariah principle because the cryptocurrencies could evade tax. This is not right as paying tax is one of the Islamic law. Plus, according to Sheikh Imran in 2017, he stated that any currencies that do not have any intrinsic value are not considered as valid money. Plus, he also stated that only gold and silver is regarded as natural or real money. As for the second group, the group that agree with the Bitcoin, this stated that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is comply with the Shariah principle. According to Ozif 2018, he stated that there are no strong evidence that saying that the Bitcoin is against the Shariah principle. Apart from that, according to Al-Zahrani 2016, he stated that cryptocurrency is one of the type of currencies of money that emerge as a result of the process of creating and developing money.
Okay, for this article, the title is Bitcoin Halal or Haram in Islamic Banking and Finance, an overview by Muhammad Rashid Hassan and Muhammad Muhibullah and Amitabh Bhattacharjee. Okay, this article is actually analyze the connection between conveyed autonomous blockchain management system or BMS like Bitcoin additionally allude to as a virtual currency and Islamic banking and finance or IBF. It shows that a BMS can adjust with the prohibition of riba as Bitcoin does and incorporate the standard of maslahah um, and mutual risk sharing. Bitcoin halal or haram is an idea that will not be settled easily. There are a few guidelines that consider Bitcoin halal while other consider it haram. Islamic law gives a lot of specific condition which must meet all requirements for an advantage for an halal, for be halal. In spite of the fact that cryptocurrency are in the literal sense to be utilized as a mode of exchange. They likewise qualify as a resource alongside token, since they help as a store of significant worth as the conventional flat currency may, while the latter look like a portion of an organization. Okay, for the next article is about the legal status of Bitcoin in the Shariah perspective by Muhammad Aziz and Zohra Jabir. Okay, Bitcoin is an emerging technology in the area Fiqh. It has deeply affected the world monetary system in large. The world nations have different opinion and are not on one page in the regard. Some of the countries have straightly banned, some have permit the exchange, while some have accepted it as a legal tender. State Bank of Pakistan has issued a notification and have warned the citizen not to involve in any transaction of virtual currency, and it has been declared a suspicious transaction in this notification. As far as it Sharia status, it has also different interpretation from different Sharia scholar. According to the post-empirical framework, there are only two concepts found from Sharia perspective. The first, the first concept was that the Bitcoin is totally impermissible, and it failed to fulfill the qualification of currency. Even it doesn't fit in the frame of we call mal. The second is that opinion was that it is currency because it has the monetary feature, monetary feature and characteristic, and has been accepted by some countries around the globe.
Continue with the article number 9 and 10. The article number 9 is about the compatibility of cryptocurrencies and Islamic finance. In order to examine the relevance and compatibility of digital currencies in Islam, it would be useful to begin the role of money in early Islamic history, as well as how the paper money has been used by Islamic scholars. We can see in the positive side and also the critics of traditional form of money, which is we can use this bar to compare it with digital currencies. But today, the paper money is often viewed as given in terms of finance. In Islamic finance concept, few societies in general, whether Islam or not, they also have fully embraced digital currencies like Bitcoin. Even these currencies are still in the early stage of adoption. In this concept of wealth as an important point of conversations in Islamic circles pertaining to the classifications of money, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies seem to succeed much better than gold and fiat storing the currencies. It is because they can be done digitally and accessed anywhere in the world with the private keys. Through these ways, they know that their money is not always safe, but they think they can access this money whenever they please. So in this article said Bitcoin is halal if they make as a payment network. The last article is about the Bitcoin transaction framework analysis from perspective of Islamic finance, a contemporary challenge of Islamic finance in digital money globalization condition. In year 2017, Bitcoin attracts many investors because of high return. Therefore, this study performed to evaluate the operation framework for Bitcoin from the Islamic finance perspective. Bitcoin is one of the first digital currencies to use peer-to-peer technology to facilitate the instant payments. So, the individuals and companies who own the governing
computing power and participate in the Bitcoin network, also known as miners, which are motivated by the rewards and transaction fees paid in Bitcoin. These miners can be tough as the decentralized authority enforcing the credibility of Bitcoin network. However, to implement the sectors in economy, an authority is needed to confirm the validity of the transaction. If there is no central authority that validate and monitoring transaction system, it is possibly exists as a fraud case. This element associated with the uncertainty. As a conclusion, Bitcoin has its own advantage, and which is low transaction fee and no third-party interruption. The system is purely peer-to-peer. Users experience of a greater degree of freedom than with the national currencies.